All right, so Hallelujah is, first of all, it's an honor to rhyme over a beat from Rakim and also have Rakim on the record. You know, Rakim was my first favorite rapper, like going back to being like 7 years old and my dad being like, we like LL Cool J and Rakim. And I'm like, all right, cool, that's what we like. So anyway, the record itself is, you know, it's battle rhymes, right? And it's me taking the position of like using religious imagery, you know, using like cosmic ideas and all that. Like it's one of the most icon the Mike King records, meaning that it's very much how I used to rap. Like people would call me like a space rapper back then. And, you know, I was always really into the things that people like Cannabis and Eminem and Pharoah Monch did in their rhymes. And so this is kind of like continuing that tradition. So getting into the bars, right? God's honest truth, immortalized before you're mortalized. It's like, all right, not only am I the truth, I'm the God's honest truth. And then God's honest truth is also like, you know, a phrase. And I like to flip colloquialisms a lot and all that. And then it's like, immortalized before you're mortalized. Like, I will be the truth forever, and you are not on my level. Fortified, right hand path, I lean them like 4 to 5. It's kind of a similar flip to what Jay-Z said on that one joint where he was like, left hand to lead them like a little past 6. But in religious imagery, you have what's called the right hand path, which is like being good, and then the left hand path, which is considered, you know, being evil. And so I'm saying the right hand path will lean them like 4 to 5, and then playing it off of the fortified wordplay as well. Not amused, my cuts get burned, they cauterize. Royal people used to say things like, oh, we are not amused. And then my cuts get burned, they cauterize. Cauterization is like when you use heat to like close a wound, right? And when I came with that bar, I was thinking about the Punisher movie from like '92. And there's a scene where he got cut across his chest. And so he puts a knife on a fire, and then he puts the burning knife on his chest to close the wound. So my cuts get burned, meaning my songs get played a lot, but the wordplay is on cauterization. They cauterize. Caught in eye like a monocle, I'm glorified. A monocle literally is caught in your eye, but it's also, they caught an eye, like they caught your eye, they got your attention. And then I'm glorified is just, again, going back to the religious imagery. The world is mine, my mere existence can shorten time, I'm taking space, you get laid to waste like hair extensions. Like I have the power that the world is mine, and my mere existence can shorten time, meaning that I control everything. Like the world is mine, and I, you know, control the time-space continuum, right? I'm taking space, so again, like I'm controlling time and space. You get laid to waste, meaning you get killed, murdered, or whatever, but also hair extensions they go to your waist, so you get laid to waist. Torture, motherfucker, the drawn and Corticon, Old Testament style, New Testament Ouroboros mind. All right, so originally I wanted Method Man to be on this song. You know, I wanted to like pay homage to both Meth and Rakim because they were both very important to my development as an MC. Like Method Man is the reason why I wanted to rap, and Rakim was like why I fell in love with lyrics from such a young age. And so there's a lot of allusions to bars that they've both said throughout this song. Like in the hook, I'm saying, I make the crowd take a vow, no mistakes allowed. No mistakes allowed is, of course, a famous line from Rakim himself. And anyway, so the torture motherfucker, like, you know, that comes from the famous skit from Meth. And I'm talking about medieval tortures in 2 different forms. Like this would be the Old Testament version where we're talking about, you know, the drawn and quartering, which is where they would tie horses to each of your limbs and then send them running in different directions and pull you apart. And then I say New Testament style Ouroboros mind, meaning that like I will infect your brain so that it is eating itself. So the Ouroboros is that whole idea of the snake eating its tail. When I drop, it's Thor landing in Wakanda. You ain't saving face like Phantom of the Opera. The first one's kind of literal, but I'm invoking the imagery of a god who is Thor. He's the god of thunder. In Infinity War, when he shows up with Stormbreaker and he just hits the ground and then like he throws Stormbreaker and it like knocks out everybody, like that's what happens when I drop a record. You know what I mean? And I'm saying you ain't saving face like Phantom of the Opera. So Phantom of the Opera, of course, is known for having that mask over his disfigured face and all that. And no matter what, he wasn't saving his face by that. Like we knew what to do. But then what's ill is the compounds on that too. So, yeah, I mean, like landing in Wakanda, Phantom of the Opera, like that's not a scheme you would hear from a lot of people. And a lot of the MCs that I love and respect, when they hear that verse, they're like, yo, you rhyme those two things? They're in the problem, re-examining the genre. I twist the hands of fate and reanimate the object. So it's ill because I'm not sacrificing what I'm saying for the rhyme scheme, because those things don't rhyme perfectly. Usually I'm looking for like perfect rhyme schemes and all that. But the answer in the problem is just showing how like I am all things. Like I am both the answer and the problem. Shout out to AI. Reimagining the genre, twist the hands of fate and reanimate an object. So again, these are just kind of really ill ideas. Like I twist the hands of fate and reanimate an object. So think about the idea of, you know, something is fated. It had a destiny. The destiny was that it died or whatever, or no longer exists. I twist those hands of fate and I bring it back to life. Read the hymns, premium, meet the Renee, the Ren. Thought you was living large, now you speak to me through a medium. Whole thing is crazy because first of all, we got the back-to-back rhyme schemes of read the hymns, premium, ether, and either in. Like I'm doing some ill assonance in there. And I'm saying like, hey, read my rhymes as though they are hymns and they are ill from beginning to end, basically. Then I'm saying, thought you was living large, now you speak to me through a medium. So you thought you were literally on top of the world, but now you're dead and you are talking to me through a medium, but living large medium, like the interplay on that. Alpha and Omega, that'll crash out betas. I'm him, believe it or not, like Pascal's wage. Crazy ill, right? So, okay, Alpha and Omega, like, you know, God is considered the Alpha and the Omega. And I say I crash out. I'll crash out betas, but like beta software often also crashes. So there's the wordplay there. And then I'm him, believe it or not, like Pascal's wager. So Pascal's wager is this idea that even if you don't believe in God, it's better to assume at your deathbed that he exists and then you're saved, because what do you have to lose? And what I'm saying is, whether you believe it or not, I am him. All right, verse 2. So I started this verse because, again, I was writing as though Method Man was going to jump on the record. And so the bounce that I have in the beginning of this next verse is basically the bounce that I thought he would do. You know what I mean? I was like, all right, I got to do something that kind of, you know, aligns with him. So I'm making space for him on this record. Now they holler it's hallelujah. Then they promised I'm not the future. So running shit is my revenge like Montezuma. I'm saying now they holler and it's hallelujah. Like everybody's excited for me now. But back then they were saying I'm not the future. So I'm saying, so running shit is my revenge like Montezuma. So that one's an obvious one, right? Like when you travel, especially to places like Mexico and so on, if you drink the water, you get this traveler's diarrhea, and they call that Montezuma's revenge. And so you have running shit, but I am now running shit like Montezuma. I lay back while you fake jacks, I got maneuvers like Kama Sutra. So that's another flip of a Method Man line. On that song he did with Tupac, I think it's called Got My Mind Made Up. He says, fuck you losers, while you fake jacks, I make maneuvers. The rest of that line I'm not gonna repeat. But I took that, I made it rhyme a little better, and then I say, you know, I got maneuvers like Kama Sutra, because in Kama Sutra you make a lot of maneuvers to get those positions. Preach to the choir is gospel music. This is another space where I didn't rhyme it perfectly on purpose, just to make sure that I got my point across. So I'm literally preaching to the choir. I'm speaking to people that, love this level of lyricism and so on. And to them, it is like gospel music. Hard to say you ain't for no streets like Chapatulas. So this is a line I don't think a lot of people are gonna get. Chapatulas, literally a street name in New Orleans that people that are not from New Orleans can't pronounce. So when I say hard to say you ain't from no streets like Chapatulas, the no is New Orleans. But I'm also saying, it's hard to say like where you're at because you're not actually hard. You're not from the streets. So it's a ill little kind of double triple there. I'm instrumental when composed like sonata movements. That one's kind of literal. You compose a sonata, it's instrumental music. Travel light, spit balls, convert them to metal. And I wish a nigga would, like I learned from Geppetto. Like when you're carrying a gun, people say, oh, you're coming through heavy. I'm saying I'm traveling light. I'm not bringing anything, but I'll spit bars and convert those to actual metal. Now, I wish a nigga would, like I learned from Geppetto. So Geppetto, of course, was the guy that wished on the wooden toy, Pinocchio, and brought him to life. So I'm saying I wish a nigga would, like Geppetto did. No, you heard of my level and the Kurt is an echo. That's why I got scheduled to work and you work in the schedule. So what I'm saying, I know you heard of me. I know you know what this is. And some of you are trying to just straight up copy me. That's why I schedule to work and you work in the schedule. Like, I'm the boss. You are working here. I set the trend that you are copying. Cool. Because I don't get upset. I kick a hole in time, space, and unplug the sunset. So that is a play on Rakim's bar where he's like, cool, because I don't get upset. I kick a hole in the speaker, pull a plug, then I jet. So I just took that same bar and just updated it for the context of this verse. Mike King, my top 5 different eras of me. Got blind faith in myself and God shares the belief. First of all, those bars are ill by themselves. But that second bar was originally a bar for Method Man where I said, stay cooking no meth appears like Claritin D, which is ill because meth, Method Man, but also meth like methamphetamines. When people cook meth, they use Claritin D to create the meth. But going back to the actual bars that are on the song, Mike King, my top 5 different eras of me. Like I was literally listening to my old records and I was like, yo, Young Me was dope. And I was like, yo, I really like him. And I'm like, yo, my top 5 is actually just different eras of me. Like people always ask me who your favorite rappers are. And my first inclination is to say me because I do what I like better than anyone else, which is why I feel that way. But, when I really think about it, it's like different versions of me that are my favorite. Now, got blind faith in myself and God shares the belief. Like not only do I think I'm the greatest and I deeply believe in that, I'm saying God also feels like that about me. Near an MC, close, no looks of speculation. It's about damn time, like the book of Revelations. So ain't near an MC close, it's just basic little wordplay. And it's about damn time, like the book of Revelations. Like the book of Revelations is literally talking about the time of damnation. So yeah, this is really about me just flipping as much of that imagery, trying to be clever, trying to say ill things that I've never heard anyone else say. Also flipping bars that some of my heroes have said as well. And yeah, that's hallelujah.